Good morning, everyone. It's very nice to be here. Obviously, it seems like we have the first show of the day, so it's great to be kicking off the building show with you all today. Hope you had a great morning. My name is Alan. I'm the Business Development Manager for Flow. So Flow, we manufacture and also provide a network of electric vehicle charging stations. Okay. What I wanted to cover with you today is we're going to go through our company, a little bit about our company, a little bit also about different products we offer, and our network, and some different things to consider if you're looking to possibly install electric vehicle charging stations. Whenever I do these kind of talks, I like to figure out what kind of audience I have, if they're EV adopters or not. So if you can just raise your hand if you've ever, or if you have an electric car. Got one? Okay, so you come sit at the front. Okay, now, so that's typical of an audience of this size. So typically we're in around 2-3% EV adoption. It varies by province. It varies by province, obviously. And right now in Ontario, we're in around 2-3% EV adoption. But with such new technologies emerging, faster batteries, bigger batteries, also new vehicles. We have announcements of Cybertrucks and different new vehicles coming. That's bound to change. We're going to see an uptake in EV adoption. So just a little bit about Flow. So Flow has the largest EV network across Canada. Right now we have over 25,000 charging stations coast to coast. We also have over 195,000 members that use our charging services. You'll also see a name up there is Add Energy. We're one company, Flow and Add Energy. Add Energy, you can think of it as the manufacturer of the charging stations, and Flow is the network. So who is Add Energy and Flow? We've been around quite a long time. We're actually 10 years old. So we've been around long for an EV charging company. There's been a lot before us that have come and gone. It's 10-year anniversary, so we're going to have a big Christmas party this year, obviously, to celebrate 10 years. And we have offices across Canada. We manufacture out of Shawinigan, Quebec. That's where our head office is. We consider ourselves totally vertically integrated. So what that means is we design our own software and hardware. We also manufacture our own charging stations. And then we also are a network operator. Now that tends to work really well with electric vehicle charging stations, because no matter what you're looking at, or if there's an issue with your charging station, whether it be the network or the hardware, you call us. If you're our customer, we can handle it. With other manufacturers out there, some might manufacture equipment, some might provide a hardware. It doesn't give as reliable of an experience as a Flow EV charger. We have charging solutions for all different market segments. Just because there's not a lot of EV drivers in the audience, there's different chargers for different market segments. Each one has their own features and characteristics that are needed for charging. Some might need a payment system, some might need access control, some might need energy management or power sharing, and we offer solutions for all of those types of deployments. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's the largest EV network across Canada. So when you use our network, you have access to what I call our sister networks as well. So some of our sister networks include Electric Circuit, which is a network provided by the LDC in Quebec, the distribution company in Quebec. It's Hydro-Quebec. We also have a sister network called eCharge, and that's provided through NB Power in New Brunswick. And then we have a network through BC Hydro, and that's the BC Hydro network. So with one app or RFID card, you can access all of these charging stations across Canada. So as I mentioned, we service the entire ecosystem. Whether it be residential charger, multi-residential, at work, fleet, public, or city curbside, we offer a solution for any type of deployment. Okay? Since you're not too familiar with the charging levels, there's different levels of charging stations. At your baseline, you have a level 1 charger. When you purchase a car, it comes with that charging station. You plug it into a wall outlet. It's a trickle charge. You're only going to get approximately 4 kilometers of range with a level 1 charger. We don't manufacture level 1 chargers since they come with the vehicles. But if you're driving a full electric vehicle, then you're going to need a level 2 charger and up. So level 2 chargers, we have our Flow home units. The Flow home units are the preferred chargers for Nissan Canada, Volkswagen Canada, Mercedes Canada. So when you purchase one of those electric vehicles, they have those charging stations available. Then you have different level 2 options. So if you have a multi-residential deployment, you're looking for charging stations, we have specific chargers for that market segment. Same with public installations and city curbside and fleet solutions as well. Going back to the levels, level 1 charger, as I mentioned, trickle charge, you're getting approximately 4 kilometers of range in about an hour. With the level 2 chargers, you're getting approximately 30 to 40 kilometers of range in about an hour. And then your level 3 chargers, those are your DC fast chargers. With those, you're getting approximately 250 kilometers of range in about an hour. So this is one of our main sellers that we have for different deployments. So this is called our Core Plus unit. So the Core Plus unit, as you can see, or maybe you can't see, one of the differentiating factors with our charging stations is the construction. So this charger and all of our chargers are cast aluminum. So most of the chargers you see in public are made out of plastic. So obviously that might work well in deployments like California or warmer weather, but this over here we deploy specifically for Canadian climates. All of our chargers are cast aluminum. It's a NEMA 4X construction. So this is what's considered a network charging solution. So it gives you a lot of options. So whether you need access control, you can do that through this charging station. The access control is regulated through an RFID card or through our web app. Also gives you a built-in payment system. So if you want to be charging employees or people visiting your location, it's a turnkey solution, has a built-in payment system on it. Other things is it communicates through a 3G cellular communication, so you don't need to run any network or data cables. Makes it very simple to install in your different locations. We also provide 24/7 end-user support on our commercial charging stations. So if you have a client coming to the charger, they want to activate it, they're not bothering anybody within your organization or your building. They just call us and we assist them. And last thing, we proactively monitor the charging stations. So we're actively monitoring the heartbeat of the chargers, and we make sure that the charger is up and running, and if there's ever any issues, we outreach to our clients. There's been a lot of charging stations that have come and gone in the last few years. A lot of manufacturers have gotten out of the industry, and so that's really a black eye on the industry. So we make sure that our chargers are the most reliable charging stations available. So as you can see, it's got a nice modular design to it. So no matter what kind of parking situation you have, we can cater towards it. So starting on the left, you see a standard wall mount. Another nice feature about our products, it's a very specific modular design to it. So it makes it very easy to add or service the charging station. Most chargers that you see in public, they're all in one unit. So if you have an issue with a component of it, you're swapping out the whole unit. Ours, it's a modular design, so it's very easy to service and add features. So you have a wall mount on the left, then you have a wall mount with a cable management. Cable management system is something that I recommend to all of my clients. Cable management basically means that there's a counterweight inside that little pillar, and what it does is it pulls the cable back up when somebody's done charging. We've all been to a gas station where we go to pump our tires and the cable's just kind of kicked around. So you don't want that with your electric vehicle charger. If it's drawn out, you might have another car come by, run it over, or a snow plow come and snag it. So cable management is always something that's a nice feature to have with the charging station. This cable, I forgot to mention earlier, all of our cables are 25 feet standard cable. It's the longest in the industry, and that allows you to reach different areas of vehicles. Every car has different charging ports on their vehicle, so allows you to reach different areas of the vehicles, and also gives you more play with your installation location as you can reach the vehicles easier. You also have a single pedestal, which would be this unit over here, and then you have dual pedestal options as well. When you're installing, just since it's up, when you're installing, it's always much more easier and convenient to be installing a dual charger versus a single charger. It will make your installation cost much lower. So another unit we have is our Smart 2 units. So this is our Smart 2 family of units. So the difference between this and the Core Plus, they're very similar. They have all of the revenue collection, the access control, all of those things that I told you about. This one has an added level of security. So as you can see, the charging head on this one, you do have to disconnect the charger and plug it in. However, anybody can access this charging station, this charging head at any time. This Smart 2 unit, it gives you an added level of protection, security. So when you authorize the charger through your app or RFID card, that then gives you access to the charging station. This door opens up. So if you have a location where you're concerned about vandalism, where you're concerned about real like urban environment, you might want to consider the Smart 2 family of charging stations. So over here, this unit, it's a version of it. It's called the Smart 2 BSR. It's a little hard to see from that picture, but it's a particular type of deployment that we use for public locations and also city curbside installations. That pedestal you see is about 12 feet tall, so it makes it very visible. Like if you picture pulling into a busy parking lot or a big parking space, or even just driving down a busy street and you're looking for a charging station, by having the 12-foot mast makes it very easy to spot out. It also keeps the cables nice and high off the ground, so if you have a location where you have a lot of pedestrians, a lot of cyclists, things like that, you want to keep that nice and safe. So this unit is the Smart 2. That's this unit that we have on display over here. So this one, it's the same as the Smart 2 BSR, but there's other mounting options with it. As I mentioned, you have your single pedestal. There's a few other specific installations that you can use it for, but same thing. It has the locking head, the 25-foot cable, the 24/7 end user support. It's a networked charging station. You can see a few other mounting options with it. So we have, for example, a pole mount option. If you have a particular location where you can basically install the charger on a pole, that gives you an option. You have a dual pedestal, a quadruple pedestal if you want to service 4 parking locations. So same thing with this one. It's NEMA 4X construction. It's cast aluminum. Great design for outdoor use, outdoor installations, and it has the built-in payment system on it as well. So the next one up is the level 3 charger. So these are your DC fast chargers. They're for specific types of deployments. So with these, you're getting approximately 250 kilometers of range in about an hour. These are going to be more typical in your transit routes, just because they're really fast charging, and they require a lot of power. So they're 50 kilowatts. So you're going to see these more on your transit routes. We have the most level 3 chargers available from coast to coast. So right now we have over 350 level 3 chargers available. So these are going to be when you're doing that long distance trip. You're not doing your daily commute to home and to work, but you're traveling to a vacation destination, and let's say in Quebec. And you're going to be looking for a level 3 charger off of the transit route to plug into, get a quick charge, and continue on your way. So these are the types of locations where you're going to be installing the level 3 charging stations. So this one here, it's got the same construction. It's designed for outdoor installations, which is where you're going to see them. Weather rated good to -40. If you look closely, it's got 2 cables on it. That isn't 2 specific charging heads. What that is that's basically 2 different standards that are still available in level 3 charging stations. So it's called a CHAdeMO and an SAA combo. So what that allows is all vehicles to connect into our level 3 charging station. And I forgot to mention earlier, and I get this question all the time, so I wanted to clear it up. So this charging head, it's called a J1772 connector head. Works with all vehicles. Okay, so all of the vehicles use this charging connector, except Tesla. So Tesla, they want to be unique, so they have their own charging network available. However, since these are the most common chargers you're going to see in public locations, the Tesla vehicles are sold with an adapter in the trunk that fits onto the charging head, and then you can plug it into your Cybertruck in the future. And there's no, unfortunately, there's no other adapter that goes the other way into the Tesla vehicles, but the Tesla can plug into the J1772. So like I mentioned, the level 3 charging station. It's a 50 kilowatt charger. Most vehicles right now, 95% can't charge faster than 50 kilowatts. There are vehicles that are going to be able to accept a faster charge in the near future, and we're adjusting and developing based on that. So we have another version of this charger coming out early next year. That's going to be 100 kilowatt. So you're just going to be able to charge that much quicker. So if you're thinking about installing EV charging stations, these are a few different considerations that you're going to consider in terms of your deployments. So we typically say, consider how long you or your clients are going to be parked at those locations. The longer the parking time, the slower charge that you can afford to give them. Also, it's important to consider, because there's not a lot of or electric vehicle drivers, they're not waiting for their battery to deplete. What they're doing is they're constantly topping up their batteries. It's similar to like a cell phone mentality. Whenever you have the opportunity to plug in, that's when you're doing it. So what we see across our network on our level 2 chargers, on average, people are just plugged in for about 2-3 hours. So when you have people that are parking for longer periods of time, you're definitely going with your level 2 chargers. With at home, obviously you're going with your residential model, because you don't want to be doing any type of revenue collection, anything like that, obviously at your house. But you do want to be able to supply at least 30-40 kilometers of range with our level 2 chargers. As you're going to multi-residential buildings, workplaces, even public locations, you're still going to be gravitating towards your level 2 charging stations. If you think about it, you go to a mall, you're usually parked there longer than about an hour. So you're getting a good amount of charge in that period of time on your level 2 chargers. Also, you got to factor in the price consideration. So your level 3 chargers typically are going to be about 10 times the cost versus your level 2 charging stations. So you want to consider the amount of time that people are plugged in. As I mentioned, when people are in those transit routes or they're on those en routes off of the highways, that's when they want to go more with the level 3 type charging solutions. And obviously, we offer those. You want to consider traffic flows and access to a cellular network. So when you're looking at your location, you might want to see whether you have a good cellular signal over there. As mentioned, our charging stations do communicate through a 3G, or sorry, now through a 4G cellular communication. So, and obviously there's going to be the odd situations where there's no cellular signal. You might have a P3 underground parking situation, a P3 or a P4. And in those cases, we do offer different solutions. We can do multiple gateways. We can connect through the internet, through a landline as well. So there are alternatives to that. You want to consider proximity to your distribution panel. You want to, consider proximity to your distribution panel. So typically when someone's quoting you for an installation, the electrician, they're going to be quoting you per foot. So the closer you can get to your electrical panel, the better. Also, considerations are if you can do a wall mount option, that's always a good option. That way you can avoid any type of civil work. You're avoiding trenching, you're avoiding concrete bases, things like that. If you can access, if you can install on a wall, obviously that's a cheaper option for your installation, but you want to be close to your panel regardless. You want to consider the future. So right now, as I mentioned, we're about 2-3%. All indications, well, there's different indications. We're going to be at different amounts of EV adoption in the future. So 2025, we may be at 10%, 15%, 25%. But whatever it is, it's going to go up. So all of my clients that start off with a couple chargers, 2, 4, 6, they're always calling me in a few months for additional charging station. So always factor that in with your installation, whether it be running appropriate conduit size, whether it be roughing in for additional chargers, or whether it be just sizing your panel appropriately for extra chargers in the future. Do you also want to consider the available power you have? So oftentimes clients will call me, they'll say they want to add 10 charging stations. And I ask them, well, do you have room on your panel? And they don't know. So you want to be able to supply the power needed for the charging stations. These are 30 amp chargers. They require a 2-pole 40 amp breaker, but we do have options in terms of power sharing and power limiting, which is a good time to bring that up. So the Core Plus unit, it does have a patent on it where you can do up to 4 of them on one 40 amp breaker. So it allows for installations at locations where you might not want to do an infrastructure upgrade. You can look at adding additional charging stations without doing those costly upgrades. So that Core Plus, you do have the power sharing option. And on all of our charging stations, you do have the power limiting option as well. So first-class user experience, our frontline support, you can see there's a 1-800 number on the charging station. So whether you're a network user or a network owner, it's very easy to get in touch with us. If you're stranded at a charging station and you don't know how to activate it, call us. Our frontline support is actually done through CAA. So we're staffed. They can send you a tow truck, pick you up. But they are available 24/7. That takes a lot of the customer questions out of the hands of our station owners. It offers a turnkey solution for them. Also, we do proactive monitoring, which I mentioned earlier. We're actively monitoring the heartbeat of all of our charging stations, which gives us the most reliable charging network out there. Easy to access the charging stations. As I mentioned, you have access to all the different sister networks that we have through one app. So you activate the chargers through your easy-to-use app or RFID card. If you're not currently a Flow member, I suggest you go on, register. It's no cost to register. Become a member. You can get familiar with the app and the user experience before you buy an electric car. That way, you can just see how easy it really is. We also do have roaming agreements with some competitor clients as well. And the roaming agreements just make it easier to access other charging networks through one through our app, through one app. Real-time charging and billing data, whether you're a station owner or a station owner, or station user or station owner, you can access your app, see what kind of power you're getting from the charging station at any time, see the status of your charge. You also get a detailed receipt emailed to you when the vehicle's done charging. And as a station owner, you have access to all this data as well. You can extract detailed usage reports. You can put the station in service, take it out of service, all through your owner web portal. And then you can also change all the revenue settings, energy management settings at a fingertip through the owner web portal. You can also access, obviously, the charging station locations. You can add the chargers as a favorite, all through the web app. All of it is a cloud-based reporting tool. And then all of our payment systems, we handle all of the transaction. So we maintain the payment system compliance. We handle any transaction disputes. We also submit taxes on behalf of our clients. So the revenue collected at the charging station a percentage goes back to the site owners, and the rest we look after for the station owners. I know I'm running out of time, so I'll just run through, just show you a couple different examples of different charging. Sorry, I missed that slide, so that's that slide. These are just some examples of different charging deployments that we've done. So at the top is a shopping mall that we did. You can see that's the top right corner. That's our Smart 2 BSR units. That's at the Penn Center. And you can see there's a couple dual charging stations. To the right of that big monster unit, you see that's our level 3 charger. That's a deployment that we've done with Region Appeal. We've serviced them at multiple locations. You can see further off in the background they have some Core Plus level 2 units as well. That's a typical type of installation where you're deploying level 3. You either have multiple level 3s or you have level 3 and level 2 charging stations as well. The bottom one is, that's actually our office. So the bottom left corner, so you see there's a couple Smart 2s. We're in Mississauga, so if you want a free charge, come by, look us up. You can get a free charge at those charging stations. Some other installations that we have. So there's the left chargers, our Canadian Tire gas bar deployment. We have over 50, currently 50 locations with them coast to coast, and more to come. You can see there's the Smart level 3 charger, and then also a level 2 charger. And then you have a Core Plus workplace installation, top right corner. That's an installation we've done with Bell Canada. Bottom right corner is a municipality, a city curbside charger with the Smart 2 BSR. Lastly, these are some of our sister networks. So obviously, they've done some marketing on the units. So they are our units. They've white labeled the units. They're on our network. So the top right is NB Power, the eCharge network. Then you have the electric circuit, some chargers available through the electric circuit. And you also have the BC Hydro network below that. Okay, so wow, that was a mouthful. Do we have any time for any questions at all, or kind of short? So yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pass by our booth. We're just a couple aisles down. The booth is 413. I'll be available over here as well. I can. You have my business card is here. We have the cut sheets for all the charging stations. It was a pleasure to be here, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.